Hello Internet, and welcome to a 7th installment of the Heroes and Generals Devstream, live from our Copenhagen headquarters. And you can hear the bell tower from the city hall ringing outside. I think we're going to show you a picture because people have been asking what the hell's with the bell. And there you go. Can we get a full screen of that? So that's what we see outside our window.
Oh.
Nope.
Not that one.
Not that one. That's interesting. It's always nice to start with some technical issues. I guess we'll show it to you later. What we will be talking about today, we decided to go back to answering some questions that we put together before the show, as some people were kind of worried that I was taking a lot of time reading the questions from my little chat window. We're going to be having a... Oh, there it is. There's there's the
I'll just
majestic
zoom out a little bit so you can see here. And that is me.
Yeah,
that's me. And behind me there's the world famous bell tower of the Copenhagen town hall.
Yes.
There you go. It's actually a building that's quite interesting. It's a total copy from some building in Italy.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Florence, is it? Something
I
like
have
that?
no idea.
Something
Somewhere
like
in Italy, there's a building that closely resembles the town hall of Copenhagen.
So, what we're going to talk about today, a little word about the Steam bundles, and also a mention of the special assignment weekend, which we're starting now, I think. I will check later. And answer some also questions from the community about a lot of players are worried about what could get them possibly banned as a cheater. People worry that it might happen by accident. I'll try to dispel some misconceptions about that. And also we're going to take a look into the mysteries of map creation, and also to answer one of the community's most ancient questions, which is, will we ever get a map editor? So we'll show you a little bit how maps are made and answer that question later. So I guess we could start with the special assignment weekend. We'll show you, that's the, there's a blog post detailing exactly what's going on. So it starts actually, it's already started, isn't it? Yeah, right now. It started now.
Go.
So there's three, actually there's going to be 6 assignments and 3 winners in each category. The idea is that there's 1 assignment per character type. So there's one for infantry, which is basically capture as many control points as you can. Tank crews, destroy as many enemy tanks as you can. And then for fighter pilots is to defeat other fighter pilots in dogfights. Recon is basically a headshot contest, and of course, yes, we will be checking for cheats. And paratroopers, we want you to land directly on the objectives. So the objectives, sorry. So the for paratroopers, as opposed to infantry, they can get points by capping anything. The paratroopers will only get points for capping the O objectives, so the O1, O2, O3 points. And finally, for officers, the idea would be to defeat as many enemy on the campaign map. But I'm just going to read the exact details here. It's basically per assault team that we're counting performance. So the assault team that causes the most damage is going to be the winner in this case. And the winners of this special event will get some of the Steam packs. Sorry. So what you can win is one of our Steam bundles. So for all categories, there will be 3 winners. And so this brings us to, I guess we can just scroll down and oh no, not in the comments, but to the next item. There you go. So if you go and look at the news blog, you'll see a description of our Steam bundles. The idea is that we know that some players don't have a lot of time to play the game and are interested in basically starting off quickly their career as for example, a tanker. We made a special pack for tankers. We made one for riflemen, and there's a all heroes pack. So basically, all the different packs contain. Like the one you're seeing right now on the screen is basically the one with everything, but it doesn't have everything, but it it has a pretty much a little bit of everything. There's other smaller packs, of course. The idea is that this is to get you started, so you don't have to play for several dozen hours to unlock the things. So if you basically have more, if you have less time than money, you can go and get those. They don't unlock everything, but they get you started. So basically, they have some of the most interesting items for specific character types. And this is you can find them under downloadable content on Steam. So I guess, is there something else we want to say about that? Actually,
no. It's maybe I should just give a little comment on. I think some of the players regard this as one of the dreaded pay-to-win things, where you just buy your way to winning the game. But I have to say that's not how we view it in regards to paying for the game and not paying for the game. Basically, what you should be looking at here is that either you could say either you spend time in the game unlocking stuff, earning credits. That's actually a currency that's time based. Or if you don't have that much time, which a lot of players don't really have 100 hours a week to play. Some do and some don't. They can sort of like shortcut by paying with real money instead, and that's sort of like how the whole business model works. But it's not that you're not gonna pay to get a weapon that's better than everybody else, because that would be pay to win, and it's not. It's about accelerating time. That's also why we have the ribbon boosters and stuff. It's all about using money to speed up time. If you want to get to the end of the movie quicker, you can press fast forward. So that's kind of the basic mechanic of the business model, and that's how we do it. So I would just like to stress that this is not a sort of like a pay-to-win thing, even though it seems like there's a lot of misconceptions about
what it is,
what pay-to-win actually is. I would actually say that spending time in the game has tremendous value for us and also for the players, because what you get from actually spending time in the game is you get better at playing the game. You get skill by playing the game, which obviously turns you into a player that's more skillful, and then you might not need as much help as a new player who just buys the whole shop and then starts playing, because he would maybe need something that's a bit better. So it's I think you can say that the skill stuff is intact in the game, and we really like to have a game that pushes toward skill, that skills players can actually play the game without having to pay a lot. So
because basically, if you have the skill, you don't necessarily need the better equipment.
Exactly.
You don't have to have it.
Exactly, and of course, obviously, we also have equipment and tanks and stuff in the game that's definitely not as good as other tanks. And some of the more skilled players actually find like a challenge in actually proving that you can win with a weaker weapon just because you're that much better. So it's all a balance thing of facilitating all player types in the game, basically.
So I guess that covers it.
Yes.
I think I'll go on to the burning question. What's been going on recently? We've been every week now, pretty much doing ban waves as we detect new cheats. We just have a new list of players that get banned. And some of them have, of course, gone to the forums to protest their innocence and to say, I don't know what happened. I just got banned, and they won't explain it to me. And that's I think one of the things we need to talk about now is no, we're not gonna. like, let's say if you get banned, I'm not. I hope that none of you watching will ever, use cheats and get caught doing it. But if you did, we wouldn't tell you how you got caught and what you got caught with. And there's a good reason for that, is that any information we reveal, that can be used by cheaters to make better cheats next time. So basically to make them harder to detect. And so for that reason, to basically cover our ass security wise, we can't just go around telling you, oh, you were using this one as a, no, we will not reveal anything about that. And this is why players will go on the forums and say they refuse to tell me, yes, we actually will not tell what we found that you were using. So on the other hand, players who use legit software, such as if they use TeamSpeak, if they use something like some players are using software to map a joystick so that they can fly the planes with a joystick. As long as it's legit, we can tell the difference. You're not gonna suddenly wake up one day and your account is gone just because you TeamSpeak. A lot of players use that. If you use the original version, if you don't use some kind of modified edition. So the idea is, if you use something that can interfere with the game, that can change the graphics in the game. There's stuff out there that promises you that the explosions will look cooler, or you can make the enemy's head look pink. Well, that's the problem. It's like it's the same kind of interference that's being run. It goes and modifies a running instance of the game. So that, use at your own risk. Actually, we technically do not consider that to be legit. So if you are running that kind of software, that it might happen that you get banned. But we're like it's kind of common sense. If you use something that modifies, that goes into the game and changes the way it looks, that you can be fairly certain that this is something that can be exploited for cheating. So the bottom line is, don't worry if you're using something like TeamSpeak, if you're using whatever else we named the other day. I think Xpatter, the one for the joystick, was like, as long as it's not. I mean, and then again, I mean, if you take your cheat and you rename it Xpatter, that's not good enough. But and then if you have any questions about that, if you have for example friends that use cheats and if you have any questions about the software, you can ask Robotron on the forums. You can or just if you want to know if your software is legit, just go to the forums and discuss it. That's we're there for that. And also, if you there was another point that was very important. If you ever actually do get banned, and you're absolutely certain you were doing only everything you did was legit, and you get banned, you contact support. We'll look into it. We're not going to tell you what we detected, but we'll look into it. So if you have nothing on your conscience, I mean, there's nothing to be worried about. So yeah, but questions on the forum, please. If you want to ask, is this software okay? Is that software okay? I'm not saying that we guarantee an answer, but it's better to ask that on the forum, because support will not necessarily be able to give you a final answer on that. This being said, I think we can move on to the next topic, and I think I'll let you do the talking here. The question is, why, or more like, why don't we have a map editor?
Oh yes, we hear that quite a lot. That players would be able, or would like to build their own maps, and several other first-person shooters obviously have map editors. Like the original reasoning for this was that when we started building this game, there wasn't really any engines that suited this kind of game that we want to build, like being a 3D engine, but still having the back end stuff running with servers and all that, and so there wasn't really any suitable engines. Now there probably are, I guess, but we just built so much stuff with the way we do it, so it would be quite a big task for us to change direction on this one. So that's probably not going to happen. We built the engine or the maps using several different tools, and I can't say that we won't at some time release some sort of a software thingy that you can use to run custom maps locally or something like that. But it's not in our pipelines right now to do it, and it would at that time it would probably require quite some skill from whoever wants to build new maps. It's not as easy as just building a 3D model and that's it. There's a lot of work in building a map. Obviously, today I'm gonna try and show you a little bit of how the process is with building maps, but I'm not gonna. We don't have time to go through everything, all the details of maps. I'm just gonna show you a bit about the how the map is designed and how it's laid out in the 3D software and basically how it's a very rough map how it's built. On top of this, there's lots and lots of other details that we can maybe discuss at a later time. Yeah, and I actually want to say that if you guys want to know some more specific stuff about how we actually build stuff and how what goes into the process of making this game, feel free to post it on the forums or start a thread about it or something, so we can take it up here in the Twitch session and show you some more details. So we can spend hours talking about details of each individual production. That might be animation, how we build the tanks, or how we adjust the weapons and all sorts of stuff that we could.
Because we have it in our face every day, so sometimes it's not easy kind of answering a question if you think like, well, it's obvious.
Exactly, yeah. But we are willing to take up some of these issues and try and make a little show of it or something. It's just like where to begin. So, and obviously I have to say as well, this machine that I'm running is not my great. Not my work machine, so it's not a super fast workstation. So it's I would have to ask for a better machine in here in order to show some of the more advanced stuff.
Dear Santa.
Okay.
Can you show me the outline?
Yeah, I'm going to start first of all by showing some. Oh shit! Here we go. Yep. How we start working with the maps. As you can see here, I have this is Illustrator. I like to use Illustrator to make documents because it's basically that's what I use and it's easy because it's vector graphics, so it's easy to manipulate and
looks pro.
I just find it easy to work with that. So I know a lot of other artists like to some level designers like to just draw a sketch on a piece of paper or in Photoshop or whatever. It's basically this is just for your own reference or to communicate how the design would be to the other team members. I usually start out with a very, very rough idea of the structure of the level that we're going to build. Here I have an example of a new factory map that I've been looking a little bit. This actually, I have to say, this flow is something I've constructed in order to refine the internal tools for map building. So it's not a map that's just like whoa on the edge of getting released.
No, it's, but we'll see it later. I think you see that.
Yeah, I'm going to show some of it later. As you can see, I have in this layout 3 objectives, and I've laid them out as being and four access points, and in between those access points and the objectives, I have 2 control points, and they're all the same. Just to illustrate that this is the basic layout: 4 lines, 4 tag lines, 2 captures on each, and an end game with 3 objectives. So this is a very, very rough idea of the main structure. Then after that I move on to something a little bit more complicated, is that I try to look at the individual flow on each attack line, and try and come up with some super rough ideas about how should the game flow between the objectives and the access points on each attack line. In this situation, the part of the game, this is an assault map. Part of the game would be to get from the attackers towards towards O1, and then another section of the battle starts, because that's the battle for the two other objectives. So it's sort of like two phases: the get to the objective and capture the objectives. And you see this might look super complicated, and it's definitely, you shouldn't take this as being this is the way it's laid out physically in the map. This is more to illustrate that you have a line from A to B, A1 to A2, and you should be able to visually see from A1 to A2, and there's an open space between. I have to say, this thing that looks like a little hourglass, that's supposed to be a choke point, a place, an area between the two capture points where you want the soldiers to actually squeeze together. So that's going to be like a kill zone right there, and the sphere is to illustrate that before that kill zone I want an open area. So that would mean that the capture point here, or the access point, would be easy to defend, because you have defenders in the access point. You have a huge open area, and then you have a squeeze choke point. So the last stand would be difficult to push the attackers out of this map. And that goes on for the whole way up to the O1. Obviously, you can see I have a little arrow with some crossover. That means that's a one-way path. It means something where players can get only one direction. They can't go back if they choose this path. So that's kind of like the basic idea. Again, this diagram is basically for personal reference of when you start to build the map, when you start to get into all the details of setting up the map in the 3D world. It gets very complicated. So you can always take a step back and look at the design, the flow chart, and see, am I near where I actually want it to be? It cannot be exactly the same, but it's sort of like you sort of refresh the idea of what your intentions with the map was.
The blue stuff, is that buildings?
Yeah, I'm gonna so that in this game flow there's sort of like two phases. There's the get to the objectives, and then there's the capture the objectives. You can see here I've tried to make a map that's quick to create, as I have the A attack line, and you'll see that the B attack line is actually the same as A, it's just reversed. So it has the same, it's just flipped out around, and the C and D lines are actually just mirrors of A and B. So it's I only need to sort of like think about A line and get that one sort of like in a design wise something I think that would be fun, and then I just copy it to the other lines. Otherwise you could spend years working on a map. Yeah, when the players get to the objectives area, obviously I need some more a new kind of a game. It's a different game around the objectives, and I've mapped out like small flows about how the internal things should be. This is again, it's supposed to be like a factory style map, and the blue boxes are inside one factory hall, inside another factory hall, and the third one. And you can see like you have the main objective, which is O1. You capture that first. That's somewhat symmetrical in itself, and the two others are symmetrical mirrored versions of the same map, in order to again minimize the time used for designing the thing, reusing the principles. That's the close quarter thing. And then when I've sort of like run through this a few times, and I'm happy with the layout, show it to a few of the other guys in here, and they say, that's fine, and maybe this would be too hard, and this would be this, you can't get back, here's a dead end and stuff like that. I move on to the to a more detailed map layout. That's where the terrain and everything comes into play. Is when you start to see, okay, I have this terrain. It's going to be this and this terrain type. I'm going to have a river here, and I'm going to place my factory right here in the middle. And how would I then place the capture, the control points and the access points in order to facilitate the initial thought of the flow of the map. And that's what I've been doing here. Also, at this stage, I try to sort of like roughly map up. I'm going to have a road here, and I'm going to have a bridge here. I'm going to have some rocks in the river here, so that you can walk across. There's going to be up here. I can see like that's one of the examples of a one-way street. Is like, yeah, you can. This is like a platform or a wall for the factories, and you can get out here, jump into the water and swim across, but you cannot get back. So that would be one way to design a
defenders come out and
they can come out here and
attack,
flank the attackers on this spot. I also start to map in some like forest areas, because forests are view blockers in the game. So getting back to the original layout here, we'll say I should be able to look from A1 to A2, but not from A1 to A3. I can sort of like go, here you can see I made you can see you shouldn't be able to look from A1 to A3 because there's houses and some forest stuff in the way. That's basically what it's used for. Obviously, I need to put it in and play it and go there and look and say, okay, can I shoot from one control point to the other and make damage? If I can't do that, I need to put up some more blockers. That's basically it for the more detailed design of the map. I try to color code some of it so I can figure out the yellow ones is like cornfields, and dark green is forest, and obviously the blue is a river, some roads and stuff. I then export this one as an image.
And this is where we get to the part where
then I go into
it kind of answers the question as to why other people can't design maps for us.
Because this first part, this ramble I've had about this stuff is basically, that's just my way of trying to make a more structured way of doing level design. And obviously, if you have a good idea for it, you can do it whatever way you like. Now we get into our editor. We use a 3D editor called Softimage, or actually it's called Autodesk Softimage, for nearly everything we do in the game. The reasoning for that is that it's a very straightforward, deep 3D package. You can do a lot of stuff in it. It has what you would call a scene graph that resembles a game structure a lot. In the old days, we used when we were doing the Hitman games, we used 3D Studio Max, and we just found that was it wasn't as clean in structure as Softimage. So that's why we made the switch to Softimage, and it's fairly good for use for setting up everything in the world. It's obviously it's not as nice as a custom editor that can do everything, but having a custom editor for the game would require us to have some programmers who do not spend anything, they were spending all the time building editors, and we figured that we'd rather have those guys doing game stuff instead. So that's why we actually use an off-the-shelf 3D package to build the game.
Because I mean, once again, we're a small team.
Yeah.
People were asking last week. I don't know if you weren't there last week. How many we are? We're under 30, really. So everybody has to kind of focus on something that really pays off in terms of production.
Yep.
So yeah, that's why nobody actually was charged with the
editor.
The editor.
Also, the one of the great advantages for Softimage is that everything in the edit in Softimage can be accessed via the plugin SDK, which is a huge advantage over, for example, 3D Studio Max is very limited in what you can actually access in the game. Some of the 3D artists out there that would probably say, why aren't you using Maya instead? Then I'd say that's just because we started up with Softimage. We could have been working on Maya, now it's Softimage we're using. Maya is a great program as well.
So, but onto the part that gets difficult, I guess.
Oh, yeah. So what I've done here, I've opened up Softimage. I have imported my map sketch and put it on a plane. The plane is in the exact dimensions of the actual game map. So this would be 2 by 2 kilometers. This is where I start to actually make the rough terrain, like a terrain draft that I would use as the actual height map for the level. And you can see here I have this is what I'm talking about, the scene graph, the scene route, and you have the structure of the objects in the scene. And here I have my reference sketch. I'm going to hide that, and I'm going to show you what I would call the base mesh for the terrain. You see I have this is a polygon model where I've mapped my sketch onto it, and I've started to flesh it out into heights. Basically, I'm only moving these points like up and down to create different heights in the map. I want to keep this mesh as simple as possible because it's a huge map, and manipulating millions of polygons is just really hard or heavy. It's just almost impossible. So this mesh is supposed to be an easy starting point for the map layout. I should be able to for example, raise a surface and say this needs to be higher. I should be able to just do this here and export the changes to the game, and it should raise this area so it gets higher. So some people might ask, why don't you just have the full terrain in Softimage? And with the resolution we're running in the game, that would be about something that looks like 8 million polygons, and it's just way too heavy to manipulate. It gets really confusing. So I'd like to keep this super simple. You can see here I can put in a few modifiers, so I can move the points around and have them. You can see that this is a fairly flat terrain, so I should have maybe picked one with some mountains and stuff in it. It might be hard to see, but it's actually it has some heights.
Yeah, when you move something, you can see the.
Yeah,
you can make a hill.
I can take this one and try and move it up here.
There you go. So I gotta. So
put it back where it belonged.
But that's not all you do with
the
terrain.
What I do after I've sort of like finished my rough, well, usually you just start with a small area and you start to build around that, and then it obviously expands to the rest of the map. After that, I have a tool that will just convert this mesh into height map. Height map, for those who don't know it, it's just an image. It's a picture with it's a grayscale picture where the value from black to white just represents the height. Basically, that's a height map. And that height map that I'm exporting for this is I export it into another program. It's called World Machine. World Machine is basically a terrain editor, a terrain what do you call it, terrain engine or something. It's used to generate natural-looking landscapes. It's an awesome program, there, by the way, and but that hasn't anything to do with the actual level design. This is to put a finish on the map to make it look like a natural terrain rather than my polygon things. To model a terrain by hand would be close to impossible. So that's just never going to happen. I know a lot of other game companies use World Machine as well to put the finish on their terrains. You can see here that it works fairly simple. Input all the different masks and maps and height maps from the that are just outputted from the 3D model, and then obviously go into the I can go into the stomach of this one and show you this is how it looks when everything is being turned into the correct landscape. There's lots of stuff in here. It looks more complicated than it actually is, but it's this is the actual thing that does the terrain simulation. What it does, it tries to simulate that what happens to a rock surface over maybe 100,000 years of rain and sediment carries away and all this stuff. So it creates some nice look for the actual map.
It's all fractal based, isn't it?
Yeah, it's polynoise, most of it, I guess, in various levels. Show you here. Yeah, I have a little pre-baked version of my polygon mesh that has turned into a somewhat blurry blob of stuff. But this is the step that actually makes the terrain look more like a terrain and not something hand built. It puts a bit of fractals into the mesh. You can see I can show you it's probably going to be super hard to see on the Twitch session, but this is a map of this is a height map before it got into a world machine, and I can show you this one is after, and you can actually see that there's I probably don't see that stuff, but there's some fractally blurry stuff somewhere.
Big great pixel there.
Yeah. Let's see.
What did you
I have my sketch here. That's not sure.
Yeah, the other one with the wasn't it terrain features? That one?
Yeah, I can show you this one.
There you go.
This one is one that gets output as well that we use. You can see here. You can see the actually all the erosion channels, and you can see that everything tends to go towards the rivers. They take the high points, and then it starts to sort of like drag material down to the rivers, and that produces both a natural looking terrain, but also it produces some nice maps that we can use afterwards in the shaders of the terrain. And we use these ones to sort of like color different areas of the map. They look a lot more interesting on the maps with mountains on. This is a fairly flat terrain that I'm
but still, you can see all the little streams kind of that are eroding the surface. And
you can see if you try to do this by hand, it would take you 10 years to finish. So I'm pretty happy with the world machine stuff. Obviously,
I've been asked to smile, sorry.
After the map has gone through the world machine step, obviously it comes back into to Softimage. We put on some shaders. I'm gonna go into that at a later, so you can see that we need to. There's a time issue here as well. So, but if you want to know more about the specific steps in this, we can obviously take it up on another Twitch session and elaborate some more on it. I'm just gonna go like a quick run through of map construction. You can see I will show you the proxy for the actual terrain I have in here. Here we go. This is actually I think it's 1/8 of the resolution of the normal of the actual map. So this is a low resolution version of the terrain that we use to fix like houses and stuff on. So I can start to add some roads. Roads are just added as normal splines or curves in Softimage. Again, it's the tools already there. We just need to export them. So that's one of the reasons why we didn't build an editor. It's easier to just use somebody else's stuff.
Softimage is still used in cinema and all that, right?
Yeah, unfortunately for everybody in the world and us, is that Autodesk decided to discontinue the production of Softimage, and they hope to turn everybody to Maya. But for us, it's like it can do way more than we actually need so far. So it's probably going to be quite some time before we are forced to switch, if ever. I don't know. Right now, it works fine for us. I don't know what Autodesk's plans are with Softimage, but
so when you add the buildings
Yeah, I just put in a little bit of a. This is just
Yeah.
a reference again. Some boxes I put in at the place, and I think I put in. Did I put a bridge or something? So, just to. Yes, a little bridgey thingy, just to make sure that I sort of have the proportions right and the placement, and I can see how it works. Does this work with the terrain? So yeah.
So like when you put that in, there's specific criteria that you have to follow. I mean, so that the ground is at the right level.
Yeah. We have obviously the ground level. We put in some water. We have let's see if I can find it here. The river. Boom. Here we go. There's no texture in this one, so you can't really see it. But if you can sort of like watch the blue outlines, and it's a mesh that we put in that's sort of defines where there's water in the level. Obviously, there's lots and lots of stuff on how to set up the details of this stuff, and I'm not going to go into all that. That's way too. We don't have time for that right now.
No,
but I can maybe briefly show this is how to create the actual shader for the terrain. Here we go. I think is it this one?
So can we?
Yeah, you'll see this is how a shader is built. There's lots of inputs of texture maps goes in, gets manipulated, masked and stuff, and tiled and whatever, and then outputted to the end, and to the actual terrain. Stop. I can go in. We can do it later. Let's show you the shader stuff. But that's
yeah.
too.
You show it?
When I export this terrain,
yeah.
it goes into it gets exported into our own binary format that the engine reads. Obviously, I have another setup file with the capture points and what vehicles and all sorts of more game mechanic-y setup. This is basically just the terrain, and I can obviously run it on my computer to check out how it looks. I'm going to just run a scene, run this scene you just saw now, just with the
underwater cam.
Yeah, only the terrain and nothing else, and obviously the little blocks for houses. And we start up underwater. That's awesome. And I have obviously the free cam. You can see I just put in some flat colored grass just to get an idea of coloring before I start to do some real texturing on this stuff. So it is a very rough start of something.
Because there's no buildings to be seen except for
there
the objective.
One over
right?
here.
There's the factory.
You can see the factory, and I say, oh, that's nice. I want the main objectives to be visible from great distances. So when you start, you can say, oh, this is my direction of the. This is the objective. I can see that the same way as the medium French village, where you can actually you look around. We're on the map and you say, oh, there's a church, and I have sort of like a general fixed point of now I know where I am because church is that way. And that's kind of like the same thinking with this, like a huge factory, chimneys going to the sky. Okay,
I gotta go check it out.
Yeah, I need to battle is that way. So yeah, that's. I have a little fly around here on the map.
I'm sure there's a lot of mosquitoes.
Oh yeah,
in that area. Looks like a. What are you asking about? No.
You. See, you will actually see this. Yeah. This is.
I had a technical question in sign language. I'm not sure what it is.
So, and obviously that's about the simple run through of the map creation. On top of this stuff comes construction of all the houses and props that we use, and we have a system for making that into a modular system. So you have you can construct different houses out of the same blocks and all that stuff. So there's lots and lots of other stuff to talk about on map creation. And if we at any point release for example the exporter stuff for public use, that would be required in order to build maps for this game. It would be required that you be quite technical in setting up this stuff. But obviously, there are people out there that are crazy about this stuff, being really technical. I actually remembered on the when you made Hitman, we never actually released a level editor for the Hitman games, and people were actually asking for that, and then they started to back engineer the game in order to make a level editor, and some people actually got pretty far on that. Impressive stuff. So there's a reasoning for us not just releasing a level editor, is that it actually requires quite a lot of work, and with the actual construction of a level editor comes the...
now the screen is black though.
Yeah.
We're being told that... what's going on with that?
I have no idea. But constructing the level editor would also require us to maintain a level editor, and to be frankly, we think our time would be better spent at this stage on improving the game. So, but anyway, if you guys have questions about how we do stuff and how we produce them, we'd be glad to, if you post it on the forums, we'd be glad to take up some of these subjects and try and make a little, this is how we do stuff on these sessions.
So I guess since the screen went black for some reason, we had some questions we put together for a kind of a question lightning round. So
what is the idea with the questions, the quickfire questions? Is that it?
Wait. Jesper tells me that it says he had a loud ping in his speakers. I'm gonna ask him if it's still happening. Hopefully, okay. I hope the. Do we still have audio?
Oh, my screen come back.
And the screen is back. Great.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'll just wait for Jesper to tell me that we still have audio.
Do we have audio?
Is he's writing a novel about it. Audio is fine, but weird computer noises in background. I guess that was the whole business with the screen. Never mind. Moving on to the quickfire questions, we like to call them. The thing is that at first we thought that maybe people were not so interested in hearing the answers to the question that basically will only be answered by yes or no. But we came up with this format, so why not we got 10 questions that mostly we know that the answer will be like yes or no. And then yes, no, it's yes or no. If it's yes, it's for most of the time it's like will there be, and the answer is yes in the indeterminate future. So we'll start firing away with okay. King Fu Julian is asking, will there be mission types such as capture the flag?
Yes.
That's a yes. Number 2, Tawning is asking, will we see weapon jamming?
No.
Okay. Number 3, Don Anzador is asking, will there be an option to remember equipped assault teams on characters so that players don't have to re-equip assault teams on each war?
Yes.
Figured as much.
I hope.
Number 4, number 4 from Delta UMI. Will there be individual hitboxes for tank modules so that we can, for example, disable parts of the tank, destroy the tracks and all that? No.
I have to be careful what I'm saying.
It can, yeah. So, no. Number 5, Trailblazer01 is asking, will we get clan badges which we can attach on our soldier uniforms?
Yes.
Yes.
And no.
And no?
No, the question is some of these questions are hard to answer with a straight up. I think it was Cecinus has started a thread on these on the forum, so we can collect yes or no style questions, and some of the questions are, this is one of those that I can't answer with a straight yes or no.
Okay.
And the other ones is also like in due time, sort of like, so bear with me with the answers on this first trial run. This question is yes. You will have clan badges on the soldiers. No.
On the vehicles.
On the vehicles.
Okay. that explains that. Number 6, Nikki Fazo is asking, are there any plans to add supply crates to motorcycles, even though they were be limited or something? No.
Again, I have to be really strict about what the question and how the question is asked, because but then again, number 7, Praparados is asking, will there be a possibility to track war funds earned by your assault teams? Yes.
Number 8, Purple Slurple asks, that's an awesome name. Purple Slurple is asking, will the high explosive ammunition on planes be refactored so that it doesn't instantly kill pilots so easily? Nope. Number 9, Westwick is asking, is there any progress or update in destructible terrain, such as destroying small trees and bushes and stuff like that?
Nope.
I think we answered that one also about because trees are visual cover, and if you start cutting down the entire forest, it's
exactly.
It kind of breaks the Number 10, the NG is asking, will the wrench be available for pilots?
Yes.
Isn't it? No. Yes.
It's not a problem. But
it's not
more like a when. When we don't know.
Maybe. Bonus question from Rito Splixen. Will you ever stop listening to Celine Dion? That's for you.
Nope.
No. Wasn't there a song that... yeah. So...
that's not a real question.
It's not a real question, is
What's
it?
that all about?
It's we have some more questions from. Actually, we had a few that were. Wait! We had a few that Jesper picked up here.
Can I just say one thing about this? This was our trial run on the quickfire questions, and obviously most of the questions were answered yes, should be taken with a grain of salt, because obviously it's given infinite amount of time. Yes.
Yeah, it's not like yes tomorrow.
Yeah, and the no's were like, this is a design decision. No. So when you write questions for our next week's quickfire, it would be nice that they were very specific, so it's easy to answer yes or no.
Okay, people are asking some more questions in the chat. Are you ready to take them? Okay. Quickfire question: will we see a battlefield commander who will direct the squads in the action game? You didn't tell me who asked the question. So
will we see battlefield commander?
So I guess you got squad commanders, battlefield commanders.
That's not in. Do I have? Is this yes or no still? No.
Yeah, I guess.
Is it? 10 questions and
that's not the deal. Okay, we'll keep that for next time, I guess, because if so, yeah.
Maybe we should come up with a better form of asking the questions, because
you can do quickfire if you don't actually have the answer already. Right?
No, it would be. These would be. Would you like it to be at some point?
Next time. Okay, I got more questions. Because
do we have some of the?
We got some more of these here.
All right.
I don't know if we from where's the player's name? Oh, okay. There's a bunch of people actually. Patton 1995, Panzersmurf, and VG Kubelwagen are asking: will there be mobile anti-aircraft assault teams?
Again, in the time frame of infinite time, yes, but actually it is something that we are very happy of adding new vehicle types. The mobile AA guns is something that we are a little bit unsure of how to put into the game, other than a resource that the action players can use of rather than bring themselves. We haven't really got it to a final conclusion how that is going to be implemented. Same goes for example, artillery, something that would be really nice to have in the game, but and actually having in the action game. But again, it might be something that's hard to implement.
Because it
in the action game to make it.
It shouldn't break the flow of the action.
No, but also just remembering that most players really hate being shelled by a normal tank. artillery might just
make it worse.
Yeah, make that stuff worse. But
So-
on the, you can say on the in the strategy game, it would make perfect sense to have artillery that you move to a certain position, and then you can start to shell an enemy position to bring down the amount of resources there. And from an air assault style mission, it would be nice to have a mission where if you spot an enemy artillery position, you can just fly in and bomb the hell out of it. More like a single player style mission rather than a multiplayer style mission. So yes, this is obviously something that we are talking about, but it's not it's not in the pipeline at least.
Right. There's another question that I guess asked a lot is from Vanzam and Wilhelm. Can we expect battles with more than 18 versus 18 players?
I didn't get asked last time as well, but
I think so.
I'll be happy to talk about that again. Actually, the network traffic puts a limit on how many players we can have in the game. It's all about how much data can we move back and forth, and we have vehicles and stuff in the game that requires quite a lot of. They're pretty heavy to have in the game if you want to run a decent frame rate. So I think actually Leto told me the other day that he might be able to squeeze in some more players, but right now we keep it at 18 just because we know that works for us. And on top of that, I'm not really sure that more players will make the game more fun. It might just be more chaotic. So we don't really have a need for a lot more players in the action game right now.
There's questions that were asked earlier, and I kind of made note of them. There was Lekardan is asking, will you make some adjustments to prevent beginners from getting into the campaign missions too early, so that they don't go in and actually start. We have
that is something that is also being discussed with the new squad system and the flow of how you get into training missions and campaign missions, and it would be actually nice to sort of like shield the beginners a bit from the campaign missions by having it maybe as an unlock for like a rank unlock. The same with the tier stuff for your tier 1 and tier 2. That's basically just an unlock for your character. So yes, that is something that we are definitely looking into.
Because we know that it's kind of frustrating for both.
And it's also two different gaming styles where you can see that the training missions are sort of like they're set up to be symmetrical. So they should, in theory, be somewhat balanced. Obviously, what makes it unbalanced now is the players are very different in skill, and the campaign mission can just be wildly asymmetrical, which puts it into like these are the challenging missions. And I really like that we have that aspect of the game that it's the campaign stuff. That's the hardcore stuff. It's not.
You get yelled at if you're not good.
You can yell at the general for not throwing in enough equipment for you, but that's the reality of war. That sometimes you're just outgunned and you have to be really good to win.
But it's actually quite fun. When you the other day I played a battle. I think we were 3 paratroopers. That's all we had, and the other side had a whole bunch of motorized infantry, and we kicked their ass.
We are actually looking into getting some reward for players who play the hero part, being against all odds, winning. We need to have some more carrots for those guys, but I think that is the idea of the whole concept of the game.
So there's follow-up questions about the previously when we asked about will there be more battles with more than 18 versus 18. How about smaller ones? Would we consider having smaller, quicker battles with less than 18 versus 18 players?
Yeah, if it makes sense to do it in that context, yes, but. So far, it looks like the 18 is a somewhat good number. It's too many players in each mission might also just lock up the entire game too much. So it would be impossible to capture a control point because there's just too many players.
So I guess we don't really have time for one more. We got to wrap it up. In case you just walked in, what we talked about today, we talked about the contest that is going on this weekend, the special assignments weekend. We had a quick word about cheaters and also about basically answering a question about players that are worried that they might accidentally get banned for cheating. We kind of explained why you shouldn't really worry about this happening to you, kind of like, just out of the blue, like, hey, I'm banned. It's like, don't worry about that. Just watch the beginning of the show to find out how it works. And also we looked in depth at how maps are built, how we create maps. So if you want to watch the entire stream, you can. Gonna wait until the bell is done. I've always thought that like the melody, it sounds a little bit like that "Give Peace a Chance" song.
I think it sounds like a lullaby.
It's like a hippie music. So, if you want to watch the entire episode, you can find it on YouTube, and you can also keep following us on Twitch TV. Don't forget to visit our news blog at news.heroesandgenerals.com for more content. So this being said, see you next week. Have a nice weekend.
Hej hej.